Hello everyone, this is Mystic Juicer bringing you some more Yomi. Tonight I am joined by Nameless One.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
No problem. And we're going to be casting a kind of a different event. With the release of Steam bringing a lot of new people into the community and kind of reinvigorating the game in a huge way. One of the forum members, Shax, had this great idea to put together a mentor-style tournament. So basically what he did was he opened the call to people who are not familiar with Yomi, who've played it a little, or maybe have spent a lot of time in it, but really don't feel comfortable either playing in the ranked mode or quick match mode, or don't feel comfortable entering tournaments, and really just want to learn a bit about different characters or how to play the game. And what he did is paired those people up with an experienced member of the forum community that would be able to guide them throughout the tournament. So basically each player will have a mentor that they're communicating with over Skype while they're playing, and they'll be able to talk through kind of different options as the games continue. And Nameless, you participated in the Men tournament.
I signed up as a Gloria player. I'd played in a few tournaments before and was pretty confident in my skills in some easier characters. I've been playing Gwen and Onimaru in the Yomi League, but I was really drawn to Gloria by her card engine and recursion and all that.
Right.
But I'd never really understood how to play her at a higher level. I had all these ideas of what her good cards might be, but not really a formal idea of how to play her.
Right.
So I signed up to play as Gloria and got matched with LK404, who's probably one of, if not the best Gloria players right now. And he gave some fantastic advice. The tournament was 4 rounds of Swiss. We went 2-2 and made top 8. And in top 8, I lost to Martin, who will be playing tonight in a best of 5, which went 3-2 his favor.
Yeah.
So I know some of what Martin will be doing tonight, and I'm kind of rooting for him because he's representing me, having beaten me. So
yeah, if he beats you, he better go on to win the whole thing, basically.
Yes. To be fair, Reaver beat me in Swiss as well, but I like Martin's choice of characters a little more.
Fair enough. Of course, I will always and forever root for the grappler player, which in this case is Reaver B. Reaver B will be playing Trox, the huge bull beast man. And his coach is Bomber 678. MartinTenbones is playing Persephone, the mistress of the night, the dominating, I guess I would say,
mind control character.
Yes, exactly.
It's the easiest description.
Yeah. Very strong vortex tempo character, and is coached by the sadistic master of mayhem, Fluffiness himself. And Fluffiness was kind enough to, because I don't play either of these characters, I have some general knowledge of grapplers that aren't Rook, so I have a little bit of an understanding of how Trox would want to play generally. But Persephone is basically a mystery to me. So Fluffiness was kind enough to give us kind of his sense of what this matchup is like and what it would feel like and what each of the characters' game plans would be.
And having lost to Martin and Fluffy in top 8, I feel like I have an idea of how they want to play this game and what their goals will be. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what your impression of their playstyle is versus Reaver B and Trox specifically as a character, whereas what you experienced as a Gloria player.
Yeah.
Because Yomi is definitely a game that has incredibly varied matchups. No matter which character you pick, you are going to have to adjust which character or which of your cards are better or worse against specific people, specific members of the cast. You can't play your character the same way against every single member. You will have to switch it up.
Yeah, a great tidbit I found when learning Yomi was that your gnome, you should never think of it as playing a character, you should always think of it as playing a matchup.
Yes.
Because just how different every single opponent, just how much every different opponent character will change how you want to play your own. So, I'm really looking forward to this game because I want to see just how good Martin is at Persephone, really.
Yeah. Now, he has played against Gister, which is a very strong grappler player focusing mainly on Rook.
Right.
He played him in the feature film festival fight tournament in a very, very long set. And he did really, really well. Gister is an incredibly strong Rook player and grappler in general. And MartinTenbones has, not felt comfortable. He's admitted that he's not felt comfortable going into quick match and different tournaments. So I think that he was just trying to kind of exploring and spreading his wings there, and did really, really well. So it'll be interesting to see whether his experience with Rook translates over into general kind of anti-grappler preparedness. So I think he would have a fairly good understanding of this, how he would want to play this matchup anyway.
Yeah.
So in terms of how Fluffiness sees this, Fluffiness has written up a guide for Persephone that is really quite good that I'll be linking to in the video. So if you want to learn more about this terrifying and often hopeless feeling character, you can feel free to do so and spread the joy of sadism to all of your opponents.
Yes.
So generally the way that he sees this matchup playing out is that Trox has a strong hit point advantage. He starts at 95 hit points, whereas Persephone has only 75. He has very good damage off of his throws. He could deal up to 16 damage, up to 20 damage off of a normal throw. So between 16 and 20 generally. So he can deal he can take chunks out of Persephone rather quickly. His War Stomp ability is very good, as it prevents Persephone from dodging, which is one of the ways she can fight to get her game plan going.
Yeah, Persephone dodges probably one of the most dodge-happy characters in the game.
Absolutely.
Most characters will prefer to, say, block or just win with an attack in the first place because of how little damage you usually get off of a dodge. But Persephone is more than happy to just take a knockdown for getting cards back.
Exactly.
And the enormous advantage she gains off of a knockdown anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So the ability that Persephone has on her character card is every time she gets a knockdown, she's going to get a chance to, at the end of that combat, pick a card out of her discard and put it back in her hand. If she's knocked you down the turn before, she gets 4 cards. They have to be of different ranks, but that's still 4 cards. So whereas most characters have to block or play sort of low damage or non-followed up normal attacks to build a hand, Persephone can do that literally off of every combat option, so long as she ends with a knockdown, and especially if she's knocked down multiple turns in a row. So that's kind of the vortex we've been alluding to. So the other thing that Trox has where he's at a disadvantage, and just speaking overall, Fluffiness considers this to be basically an even matchup, so a 5-5 matchup. The way that Trox blocks work are that, unlike other players, or other characters I should say, when he blocks something, the block doesn't return to his hand, it attaches to his character card, so he sets it aside. What that means is that you can essentially cycle him out of having blocks in hand at all, which is incredibly dangerous against Persephone because she has a dominating speed attack. So in a situation where she is able to lock Trox out of having any blocks in hand and have him knocked down so he can't dodge, he has literally no defense except for a gold burst against her AA move, which is 0.4 speed and faster than any move that he has in his entire deck. So he has to be very careful about, first of all, just avoiding knockdowns in general is a very strong game plan, but especially if he is knocked down, always to have a block in hand. Otherwise he risks just being vortexed into oblivion.
Mm-hmm. And even more important than having one block is going to be having one block of each odd even, because Persephone is more than happy to leave you with 3 or 4 blocks if they're all even, so then she can just guarantee combat win when you're knocked down with an odd mix-up. Well, it's more of a guarantee against other characters. Trox can get out of mix-up normals with a lot of his face cards, so that might not be as much of an issue in this matchup as it was for mine.
Yeah. It definitely depends on whether he has those tools in hand. Persephone has cards at her disposal that can essentially lock options out of Trox's hand. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of this matchup is going to, and a lot of matchups with Persephone in general, I think hinge a lot on momentum. So if Persephone can win 3 combats in a row, that's much more valuable to her than winning a combat, losing a combat, winning a combat, and losing a combat.
Yeah, definitely.
So just very quickly to talk about sort of the hierarchy of moves in this matchup. In terms of attack speed, Persephone has a 0.2 speed queen, which is the fastest move in the matchup. Deals 9 damage, which is very respectable. She has her ace move, which is 0.4 speed, does 16 damage and knocks down, which is basically the key, her key to destroying Trox. That's the thing that she's going to be building towards constantly. After that comes Trox Q and J, which are 0.9 speed and 0.2 or 2.2 and 3.4 speed respectively. As there's a slow and fast version of the J. Either one of those is going to be a very good option because it also beats normal attacks. And then after that, Persephone has 2 very, very strong options again. Her single ace mind control ability, if she hits with it, she's able to take a turn as Trox and set up for an incredibly strong combat turn the turn after. As well as her slow J, which is 4-point speed, which will beat all of Trox's normal moves. In terms of throws, Trox just dominates all throws. so it's risky. It's risky for Persephone to go for throws, but she very much has to in order to win the matchup, and especially to deny those precious blocks.
Mm-hmm. But you're not likely to see Persephone win any throw clashes in this match.
Yes. barring some sort of disastrous 9 throw or 10 throw, which will absolutely get MLG air horns, by the way. Barring that, that's just not going to happen. All right.
Everything's possible, but don't expect it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay. Looks like we're good to go. So I'm going to stick to, let's see, I think what I'll do is I'll stick to Trox's hand for now. Mm-hmm. And then maybe in the second match, so I don't know, if you want to have a look at Persephone's hand while we're going through this.
I usually stick on one so I can guess the other's hand, but if you know his hand, then we'll see how that works.
For sure.
Make it up as we go along.
Yeah.
Okay,
so in the neutral game, Lots of blocking and throwing from Trox. Lots of trying to go for knockdown with Persephone. I think generally Persephone like to open with throws. Ooh,
nice.
Interesting. All right.
Yep. He's expecting a king, I guess. His hand isn't that great, and he really doesn't want to block on it.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, so
it's always tough to force yourself to block against grapplers because your temptation is to defend against their incredibly good throws. But you do have to take an occasional 5 throw, for instance.
Right. Well, that's going to be wasted face down because Martin has no combo options.
Oh wow, very very strong start for Martin there.
Yeah, he's going to power up for an ace already.
Yeah.
It's his only ace right now, so that might be a way to threaten dodge into Mistress. But I don't see him playing it in combat right now.
Here we see the War Stomp coming out. So this is going to lock her out of being able to dodge into knockdown. Now the thing that Trox has to decide is if he wants to play a potentially exploitable throw or normal, especially considering that Martin has just powered up for an ace, so mind control is a threat. I would think that Martin is probably going to block.
I think so too. He has a decent fast attack in hand.
Yeah, or he's going to throw because he now thinks Trox is going to try to block out the mind control. Or the Mistress's command, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm a little not sure I approve of that early Joker from Trox, even if Martin was going to follow that up. He has very few options. He basically would have to have had 2 aces in hand on the opener, which I suppose is a risk, but being knocked down once is not too bad. Okay. Nice.
So that's Trox saying he's not really afraid of a combat revealed Mistress command.
I don't know. I would be plenty afraid of combat revealed Mistress command if I was him.
That was my 5th match, man. 5th match, I go for early throws, and he goes power for an 1 ace, play it turn 2, win the game right there.
Yeah.
That was
he has to be
the biggest reason I'm not in this anymore. But.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful of going to low hand against Persephone.
There it is.
There we are. Okay.
Already.
So you're going to get a chance to see what Trox's hand is like. Unfortunately for reaverb. Okay, so he just drew an odd block, which is very, very important. Because previous to that, if Martin had taken the J out of his hand, he could have had an absolutely uncontested odd mix-up. It would have cut through his entire hand like butter. If he was able to get the aces prior to this turn, he would have been able to knock down and really get his horrible, horrible lockdown going. And wow, does he get a lot of good options with that Barrier Soul. Good lord. Queen, Jack, and a 10. So a War Stomp and dodge on that 10. Jack of Spades, a very good anti-normal, anti-Mistress of Command card. Same thing with the Queen. Oh, brutal.
Trying to think what he's going to play in combat for Trox right now.
I would think probably the J. If he has a dodge, I would make him play the J.
He's going for the throw, I think, or the block. I didn't see which side it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going for the no odd blocks strategy.
Yeah. So he's going to force essentially reaverb into a situation where he has to think about whether he's going to play that J. So he has an even block, which is going to be beaten by an odd or a throw, and then that J, which beats any of the cross-up normals, but will be absolutely stuffed by a dodge.
I'm surprised he didn't power up both those 8s, because that would have removed this Barrier Soul that's got 3 of his really good options on the table and given him a double A to undercut everything.
Very true.
Well, most of everything. Not sure.
The only thing, I like it more as powering up to get rid of Barrier Soul, just to keep those options in hand. Which, unfortunately, is not going to have a chance now. Those have all gone into the grave, yeah. But the other thing you have to keep in mind is, if he goes down to 5 cards in hand... Well, first of all, the ace, the double ace move doesn't beat anything that the J doesn't.
Right.
And so what he would really be doing is getting rid of those very precious blocks that he needs to hang on to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so Martin was counting on the fact that Reaver B essentially was going to expect that, okay, the J is very strong against a lot of different things, and therefore he's going to block instead, and went for the greedy throw on the read.
Yeah. And Martin doesn't have double A in his hand right now, so his only way to get another knockdown would have been either dodge or throw, and that throw just beat both those options, so it was really safe.
Exactly. Trox, as we mentioned, always has to make a decision. Essentially, the only thing he needs to ask himself is Persephone attacking? And if the answer to that question is no, then he can throw and beat everything. Very good play on the throw as well, because it was the unknown card in hand.
Right.
Because Martin was unwilling to give him a good any of the cards that were in Barrier Soul, otherwise he might have been able to lock him out. Okay, nice. Stuffs a jack. So there's two...
He hasn't been blocking yet, that's surprising.
I think he's just trying to deal as much damage as he can. He's got Q and K in hand. He's gonna probably leave off blocking until until he feels that Martin has 2 aces in hand.
I think if I was Martin, I'd sort of expect Trox to start blocking sometime soon.
Yeah.
And in that situation, I'd be pretty happy just blocking rather than trying to go for some crazy mix-ups. Because you always want more cards, and that's way more true of Persephone than most characters.
Yes, absolutely.
So, we'll see.
And I think Reaver B, the sense I get from him is that he's going to play Trox aggressive options so long as he has them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you hate to see that happen. That is not... I am calling... I disagree with your call on that. Strenuously object.
And he actually drew into another ace at the start of this turn. So it's going to be a really strong combat win.
Very, very
Much
nice.
more powerful than Reaver was probably expecting.
Very nice call on a throw, and playing the 5 in order to be safe against the king throw.
So that could have easily given Trox a block, which would have helped his hand a lot and set Persephone back by a card because of defense mastery.
And now Trox is in a very scary hand size. He's knocked down, so the nice thing is that Martin probably doesn't have ace-ace in hand anymore. The worst he probably has is a single ace. So he doesn't have to worry about his fast attacks being undercut. He really has to think to himself, does my opponent think that I'm going to try to play a fast attack? Or am I going to throw them? Nice. Makes the call on the block. Trox gets a little bit more huge. So for every block that he attaches to his character card, all of his normal attacks and throws are going to deal an additional damage. And that's up to a maximum of 2 attached cards. As soon as he's got those 2 attached cards, he's also going to get access to his triple ace super throw, which is a 0 speed, can't combo move that deals 45 damage. And considering we can see that Persephone is already at 60 hit points, you You can see how big of a swing that could be. So as that second block gets attached, expect Persephone to start playing around, to start playing less options that lose outright to Beast Unleashed. So a lot of attacks with Joker backup, and a lot of blocks.
Yeah, that's where this matchup's going to get really scary, is when Beast Unleashed is an option, because you're usually losing. If you ever try to throw, you're going to lose to another throw anyway.
Yeah.
And that's still true with Beast Unleashed, but now dodges are also extremely scary.
Yeah.
So your attacks are risky, your throws are risky, blocking lets this Beast Unleash in combat, which is all really scary. So.
Yeah. It's not a place you want to be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we just saw Martin block there. Given that Persephone can build hand by dodging, or at least only go down one card when she dodges, so one card for the dodge and one card for the knockdown follow-up, and then she picks a card out of her discard. I would expect that it's probably likely that Martin doesn't have any dodges in hand. Unless he's being tricky.
Yeah. I guess if he got the knockdown, I guess he'd get an ace and try to power up for a second one as soon as he could. But
oh, very nice.
Continuing to expect throws.
Yeah. reaverb was aggressive with throws off the beginning of the game. He's since calmed down a lot and has moved to a much more block-heavy style. He now has 2 cards attached, so now Martin has to always consider in the back of his mind, does reaverb have 3 aces in hand? He hasn't done any powering up thus far, so it's not very likely, but he knows that reaverb started with at least 1 ace when he landed that mind control very early on, so he doesn't have too far to go in order to make that scary super throw a reality. Okay.
Martin continuing to block.
Yeah, just building his own hand.
Looking for stuff to power up with more than anything.
Yeah, there we go.
You get aces back. Another ace back. So he's back to threatening with double A.
Yeah. And note that he leaves 1 ace in the discard. And what that'll do is anytime he knocks down now, he's going to... Every time he knocks down, he gets to pick at least one or 4 cards from his discard. So it's always better to leave an ace in the discard so that when you knock down, one of those cards is just the ace. So rather than have to power up for additional aces later.
So, from what I've seen of Martin, he's pretty eager to play double A in combat, and as we've said, double A is going to outspeed almost everything Trox can do.
Yeah.
And now that Trox has 2 blocks attached.
There we go.
With 2 blocks, it's probably less likely that Trox is going to block more, so I wouldn't have been surprised to see double A, and there's Mistress Command, which is even riskier. But Trox chooses to block it, which doesn't net him that much, but still keep him safe from that.
Yeah, the plan, I think, for reaverb right now with those blocks is essentially to cycle out low-value single blocks, so cards he only has 1 of rather than a pair, and in a bid to either find aces outright or to find pairs that he's willing to power up for aces.
Right.
Essentially, he's going to gamble on landing the 50-50 mix-up of dodge into Beast Unleashed or raw Beast Unleashed.
Yeah. That was probably very safe from reaverb's perspective to block there, because the last thing Martin is probably expecting is a block once Giant Croak is up to speed.
Exactly.
And he's, as he established earlier this game, and as I know from playing him, he's more than happy to lead aces in combat. So the question is, when will he start throwing? It's so dangerous to ever try to throw, but
it is.
He's probably going to have to do it sometime.
Okay,
here.
Very nice. So now This is a bluff dodge. Reaver B doesn't have the AAA super, but he's essentially trying to pull jokers, like to force jokers, just for so that Martin is safe. What he can do, if he really wants to pretend that he has AAA in hand, is not follow this up. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
He's
so
gonna throw anyway.
Yeah. So. It's fine. You are going to give, with that Joker, you're going to give Martin more cards to be able to power up for that double ace move.
Yep.
But there's no huge loss to following that up. The bluff probably would have been more successful if he had not played anything. And basically say, no, I'm only ever going to dodge into Beast Unleashed, and since you've face downed, I'm going to pretend that I'm not willing to risk the Beast Unleashed I have in my hand.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So tense. I'm sure it's very, very tense on Martin's side right now.
Yeah. Again, when will Martin start throwing? It's going to be a critical part of this game.
Yeah. I highly doubt that he's going to do it from his back.
Oh, man.
Ooh, there we go. There's that very, very strong 0.4 speed attack. He's going to recur probably an ace. Yeah.
Yep. Reaver now knows he doesn't have access to AA, so all the aces are on the table.
Yeah.
So his knockdown mix-up now has to be between dodge, throw, and possibly a jack. But
the other
doesn't have a jack in hand right now.
True. The other thing he could do is try to land Mistress's Command, which would put him put Reaver B down to 20, and then with pretty much any cards in hand, he'll be able to finish that off. Especially if he has the jack. If MartinTenbones has a jack in hand, he can pump that to deal most of that damage.
Yep. Because the jack fully pumped is 15. So
there we go.
Man.
Yep.
So if he can find a jack, he doesn't currently have one, but if he could find a jack, all he needs to do is 5 damage, then lead into the jack, and that's 20 damage, and it's lethal. So that should be easy, but he might not get the jack.
Yeah, so I guess if he draws it, I would probably power up out of my deck. Although, no, sorry, there's nothing to power up from his deck. Never mind. Ignore me. I guess he can just throw into AA here.
Well, 3 aces still in discard, and he has nothing else to power up with, so unless he gets a lucky draw, he doesn't have lethal this turn. Nope.
Okay, he will definitely pull the Joker out of Trox's hand then.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to have one more turn of Yomi in this match.
Yeah. So this is going to be the free combat win.
Ooh, man.
That gross. That's it. Rip. Yep. Nicely played. So one of the rare instances where Persephone is quite willing to get thrown to the ground because it sets her up for lethal, which she did not have. Sick. Very
if he leaves
sick
the Joker in his hand, if he plays the Joker in combat, he can't beat it.
That's right.
He can't dodge and he has to block.
Yep.
If he leaves it in his hand, then he doesn't have lethal. So he won't actually win this turn.
That's true.
That's a risk. Side effect of War Stomp, he might not have noticed when he did it, but, well, he wouldn't have had lethal either way if he didn't do War Stomp, so.
True. And this sets him up at 10 damage.
Ooh, he's leaving the Joker where it is.
Yeah,
That's
get rid of one of the few dodges that Trox has. He's only got 8 in his deck.
He's going to force Reaver to play that Joker, or else he has lethal off of a normal attack, and by forcing him to do that, he's going to get the knockdown that he wants.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. That's so
nice. The rare bluff. Does he take the bait? I love it! I love it!
Well played.
Reaver B, you daring bastard.
Because everybody's going to tell you that if you have the Joker to prevent lethal, you play it. But man, it's so strong when you don't.
Yep.
It's just amazing.
So now the nice thing is, too, that even if Martin has AA in hand, which would strictly dominate everything and chip out, Reaver B now has the Joker that he can play to survive that turn and get 2 aces so that he can threaten Beast Unleashed off the next turn. So MartinTenbones has to include some amount of dodge or block into his range.
Yep.
Man, that was a gutsy play. I love that. That was awesome. Reaver B, I love you.
Because AA does beat absolutely everything except that Joker, but the payoff of Reaver Jokering the AA is so immense that I'm not sure if Martin's going to play into it. It's really hard to tell. I'd hate to be in his position. This is a huge decision.
The nice thing is that...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Chose Mistress Command over Double Ace, I guess, to minimize the pain of getting hit by the gold burst. But
also for sadism.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, I bet not. I'm sure there was. I feel Fluffiness's influence in that last play.
Yep. They probably realized how much it would hurt if it was gold bursted and chose to go with a single ace. Okay.
Satsuki versus... Yes! Shock and awe! You have prepared for Trox, but what will you do against Ninja Girl?
Well, let's start speculating. Satsuki likes to have 3 cards in hand. Persephone likes her opponent to have 3 cards in hand. I'm going to give the matchup to Persephone.
Oh.
I'm going to go do research that debunks that claim.
All right.
Where's the matchup chart?
Yes. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this looks like historically, and I don't know if you want to look at the Aphotics' matchup chart as well, just to see what sort of expert opinion is on this.
I'm going to go find what I can find on this, because...
So I'll yammer
I've
on
already
with
said all I have.
my suspicions.
Yes.
So the nice thing is that by playing Satsuki, Reaver B has deprived MartinTenbones of the dominant ace-ace button. Satsuki has a 0.0 speed attack, so she can always counterattack against a raw ace-ace play. What I think this is going to do... She also has just generally faster speeds anyway. She's got access to 2 and 3 attacks, which are going to undercut... 2 attacks and some good sub-2 speed starters, which mean that she can very easily slip under Mistress's Command played raw, so the 3-speed attack for mind control, as well as slow J's and other stuff like that. So I think what this is going to do to the match is it's going to push MartinTenbones to dodging a lot more. The Satsuki has 0.2 speed throws, and Persephone has 0.6. Yeah, so she also loses the throw game.
She loses the fastest throw game, but Satsuki's fastest throw is 7.2, which is the fastest throw in the matchup, but then Persephone has the next 2 fastest because her king is 8.0, which undercuts Sets' 8.2 throw on her 8. So Sets has the fastest throw, but Persephone has the second 2.
And the other thing that's going to factor into that is that Satsuki has a very, very strong ability on her 7, where if it's the last card in her hand, she gets to discard it and pick 3 cards out of her discard and put them on top of her deck before she draws. So it allows her to have to continuously threaten by recurring very strong options, so long as she has a 7 in hand. So unlikely that she's going to be wanting to push that button. So realistically, Persephone has kind of the fastest throw by default off of her 8-speed king.
Mm-hmm. As long as Sets is too afraid to play her 7. It's always possible to play throws with abilities, it just hurts.
For sure.
And it's going to be something she'll probably want to have to do sometime.
Mm-hmm. A good reaction from Setsuki might be to throw with her higher throws, especially early, because the tendency for Martin is going to be to play that king because it's such a strong card and dominates everything that isn't a very valuable throw from Setsuki. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be losing a throw anyway, why not throw with your 9, for instance, rather than your 8, and keep the 8s until later in the matchup where you might be realistically able to catch something if Persephone is continuously, for instance, discarding her kings to power up for aces.
Yeah.
So Setsuki doesn't really have... Well, Setsuki definitely has a combo that she can empty her hand on. Mm. She has not been playing very many blocks, which may be a mistake. MartinTenbones has basically played just blocks, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wanting to stay safe. Oh! Oh, God! Oh,
that feeling.
That's the... that's
thinking them. You can throw Persephone early.
That's them bad feels. Very nicely played by Martin. He had shown reaverb that he was scared, that he respected Setsuki's strong attack options, just long enough to convince him that was going to continue. Okay, so he's going to discard. Interesting.
I'm probably going to play the counter against this counter.
Yeah.
For 10 life.
Ooh, that's a tough...
10 life or your own Barrier Soul.
Yeah.
That's a choice you don't see that often.
Takes the 10.
Well, maybe you do as Persephone. Okay, since his hand is a lot smaller, but he threw away all his good linkers. That was the important part. He's out Jack and King, which were Sets' easiest ways to dump her hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the King discard. Now, he has left himself with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a throw.
Mm-hmm. Taking the throw.
Yeah. So, I'm a little surprised at the throw reveal. Now, granted, he wouldn't have been able to empty his hand if he'd played the straight, but when you ditch those 2 cards, those 2 strong linkers, I think that's a signal to your opponent, I don't have much in my hand, and when there's not much in your hand and you're still at 6 cards with Setsuki, you're probably going to be trying to block your way into some better options.
Mm-hmm.
And very strong throw reveal, therefore, from Martin.
Okay.
Still nothing pleasant in Setsuki's hand.
Yep, she's left with 2 options right now, and not a very fast attack option. She chooses that.
So her choice is
with the scary choice of do I lead the throw and get normaled, or do I lead double A and get blocked? Both of which would hurt a lot.
Yeah. I think as reaverb, I would probably suggest to him... Well, he has 2 options. He only has 2 options. Yes. He can lead with the 2 or he can block. Yep. The block is probably much higher payoff. Essentially just losing to throws and cross-up normals, but probably a fair gamble that I would be willing to take.
Mm-hmm. As Martin, you're also trying to think what one unknown card he drew into. Yeah. And if that's a throw, that's going to affect how much he wants to play double A, but of course he can't know that, so it'd be interesting to see how much he lets it affect his choice. Oh, man.
Very nice. So he's actually going to get a nice combo off of this.
Mm-hmm. Martin played pretty risky there, but trying to minimize the loss of being blocked, but in the process.
Yep. It's going to give some really good damage to Setsuki. Gets back into Gets back into basically even life totals. Dodge. So now I want reaverb to throw with that 10 right now. And the reason I want him to throw with that 10 is because he has 3 known aces in hand, and he has known dodges in hand. And the only safe option against both of those is a block or a dodge from Persephone. So if ever there was a time to to take the risk of throwing versus Persephone, now would be a very strong payoff. He can throw into double ace for very good damage.
Could also get the smoke bomb out of his hand, which a second ago we saw that give him 10 damage free once he was mind controlled. But
true. See, there you go. Playing the safe option. Martin just playing around the aces, does not want to take a potential 27 damage off of ace reveal. reaverb spinning the aces in anticipation.
Nice. Brave enough to throw.
Yeah. So one of the things that is often difficult, especially when starting off in Yomi, is to play the obvious option.
Mm-hmm.
So we noted that that reaverb did not want to play the aces straight the first time, preferring to dodge into them. Because with the dodge, if he fails to win combat, he just loses the dodge. Whereas with the ace, he's going to lose at least one ace. However, if you continuously... The tendency is to think of the obvious move of playing aces, straight aces, as weak, because it's so clearly a good and strong move, and therefore you tend to not do it too much of the time, which leaves you just as open as if you did it 100% of the time.
Yep. And the payoff, potential negative payoff of losing all your hard-fought aces on the bad read just makes it such a feel-bad move to try to lead with aces that it's really common for people to try to dodge rather than play their ace supers.
Exactly.
And it's something you have to learn to not do.
Yeah, you have to be willing to represent both sides of the mix-up, or else it's really not a mix-up.
Yep. Oh man.
Oh, brutal. Martin just going in with throws right now.
This is going to get him all the cards he wants.
Yeah.
It's probably...
No, I would not. It's a tough...
He's face downing to try to get to the speed of the fox.
With three aces in hand, I just don't...
Yep.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
Going for damage.
And now, Martin knows that he has 3 aces in hand.
Yep.
There's a very, very real possibility that Setsuki will draw into another 2-sided attack. So an attack on both sides. And if that happens, I expect Martin to dodge 100% of the time here.
Yeah.
To play AA 100% of the time here.
Yes. It's probably more like 50-50 dodge double A, because both of those are just so checkmate, and you have to be guessing what one card he drew. Because if it's a face card, it doesn't matter, but if he draws like a dodge and a normal, he'd probably play the dodge.
Yeah.
And if he draws a block and a throw, he'd probably play the block. So that affects which side of the mix-up you'd want to play.
For sure. Does he have the dodge in hand? Okay, so yeah, he has both sides of the mix-up.
You got one dodge off double dominance, just to be sure Reaver knew we had him.
Ah, okay. Here we go. Nice. Okay.
He's playing his way out of it.
I had forgotten that Setsuki could do that. Yeah, so being able to power up inefficiently into a single ace in hand, she'll now be able to go up to 6 cards, and instead of being in that checkmated situation that she was in before, or potentially checkmated situation she was in before, she's going to have a lot of options that she can represent. Yep. And now the decision on Martin's end becomes a lot more complicated.
Mm-hmm. And if you were paying attention, the first card she drew was a jack, so that was a really smart play.
Mm-hmm. So Reaver has the cue. I think he's throwing right now. Caught it too It was too fast for me to catch, but I believe it's a throw. And I agree with that. It didn't work out for him, but I think it's a strong place to throw from, actually.
Yep. Martin's more than willing to play his aces, though.
Yeah. Probably took the gamble that he did not draw the queen. I'm actually slightly surprised that that Martin didn't lead with a normal attack of some kind. Because the worst thing that happens is you lose the normal attack to a faster to Q, essentially.
Yep.
Because Satsuki always has to play around that 0.4 speed double ace move. And now I expect Martin to dodge.
He just got double ace back and he only needs 4 damage, so...
True. So it is going to take some hurt here. It's not going to deal too much to him.
Yeah, I guess he was hoping that from last turn, Sets hadn't drawn the queen.
Yeah.
I was planning to abuse that speed gap, but... something of a valuation trap.
So yeah, he's going to play fully into this. Absolutely no reason not to.
Also no reason, in my mind, not to play the Joker as Martin there, so that probably tells Reaver he's safe to combo from here on for a while.
Yeah.
Assuming no top decks, but that's the only way you get a Joker, so if he keeps face downing, it might still scare him off.
That's true. I do like the face down anyway. Even... So one, even just to pretend like you have it, can potentially make Satsuki think about not comboing. Ha ha ha. LOLOL. But also, even if you had the Joker, probably face down a bluff card anyway, because it makes the subsequent Joker face down much stronger. You can keep it until you're in a situation where you have to play it because you're in the lethal zone. And it's a little more likely because, why wouldn't you have played the Joker earlier if you had it? Therefore, I think you probably don't have it. So Satsuki clinging to life here. Oh!
There's that throw game coming in.
That brutal, brutal 7 throw. And that's it. GG.
Yep. That's
2 games to 0.
2 in the best 5 set, so...
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, that was game 3.
That was game 3? No, that was game 3 because of the concede.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
So, one more to go.
Yeah,
I see Argagard come out. We'll see.
Yes, we'll go through the whole, through all of the matchups.
His third character from what we've seen.
I think he can probably happily stay with Satsuki. It depends on how demoralizing. Okay, good.
Yep.
I don't think this is a terrible place for Reaver B to make his stand.
Because Sets has some bad games, and that was definitely not her best.
Yeah.
But with some good draws, she can do absolutely amazing damage, even on turn 1. So it's still entirely possible that she could win this.
Yeah, the game-winning move last turn came basically in round 4, where MartinTenbones landed the Mistress's Command, and that brutal wombo combo of being able to force Satsuki to play the Smoke Bomb, and then discard both of her best options. Nice, good, excellent. Stick the knife in.
Yep. So what's his hand dump gonna look like?
Yeah, he's gonna get rid of everything that he possibly can, and luckily he can dump everything that he needs to.
6 into the king for knockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, or the king for pumps.
Definitely king for pumps. He wants that. He wants the discard, or he wants the speed of the fox, and that is very nice. So okay then.
There's that hand he wanted turn 1 last time. Well, he probably could have done something analogous to that with a combat win turn 1 last game. Maybe. I don't remember his hand last game.
He definitely had... Yeah, I mean, he was fishing for a good combo with that K and Jack in hand. So he was definitely sticking with it.
Yep. So the moral of that story is win combat.
Yes, pretty good skill to have.
Yes.
Now, the nice thing, too, is I like that reaverb stuck with opening with an attack. The tendency, especially because he was stuffed so badly in the opening turns of last game, where he just lost 3 combats in a row leading attack, is to switch it up immediately. Okay, I played a very attack-heavy game during my first game with this character, therefore you think I'm getting frustrated that didn't work, and so I'm going to go to a throw game.
Yeah.
So he has very nice options off of all of the combat reveals, essentially. He has gone with the dodge, rather. Very, very nice.
Shifting to dodges.
Yeah.
Already shifting to throws, rather.
I like it.
Doing very well.
Yeah, that K throw is a very, very nice reveal, as we discussed. It's very unlikely that reaverb is going to open with a 7th throw, which is the only throw that beats it. And he was trying to play, okay, I'm going to go attack heavy this turn, or this game again, so you better start blocking some more, or play something faster than my attacks. And tried to go for that, the dodge counterplay. Unfortunately, that played nicely into Persephone's strong K reveal.
Now Satsugi's knocked down.
Yeah.
From his hand.
Still has ways of getting out of this with a combat win.
He has all his options. I'm trying to remember what Martin knows of his hands. So he saw the 2, the 7, and the king get put back on top of the deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brutal.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Still unafraid to play the aces.
Oh, and Bomber's here. Excellent. Yeah, very, very nicely played there. Were the aces known? Yes, they were.
One of them was, because
okay.
he played a turn 1, the other was hidden. Because, well,
nice.
No, he powered up 2 8s. That's where those discard 8s came from, so both aces were known.
So there's that show you the obvious, play the obvious move, which is very, very strong.
Sets his hand is not changing.
No, still
combat reveals.
Yeah, still stuck on the same options there. If she can play out of this, she's got a very strong ace-ace ender. That'll nicely even up the life totals. Ooh!
Nope. Martin's one step ahead.
Yep. So I'm wondering... So I think Martin is making the call that reaverb is not willing to throw with the 7.
Yep.
And is not willing to block because Satsuki can essentially build a hand by attacking and emptying your hand. Interesting.
It's not quite going to get him his innate, though.
Yeah, I would just have played those aces.
Yeah. The ace speed is 1.0. So that's still slower than the 2 important attacks, though.
Yeah.
Oh, is he trying to...
Oh,
Are you even allowed to do that? No.
Shoot.
Because you're usually allowed in card games to pass on searches, but Yomi has such complete information. Like, there's no cards taken away or hidden, so it's always 100%. You know where your aces are, at least you yourself do.
I'm surprised, though, that you're not able to pass if... I wouldn't... Okay.
Somewhere in your deck, right?
No, so the move there was to power up the aces and then not actually draw the aces that he would have gotten. So yeah, I guess that's not possible in the online implementation. I think you can do that in... I'll have to check. I don't know if you're allowed to do that offline.
I think... I'm really not sure.
Yeah. It would only come up with Satsuki because she's the only person that would willingly want to go lower in hand.
Right.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Would have been a good plan. Oh, yeah. That's such a bad feeling. You've held on to your precious option for 2 turns in a row, and then the turn you finally decide to play it, it just comes crashing down around your ears.
Martin's playing the straightforward. I have the checkmate card / option in this matchup, and I'm just going to play it over and over because, assuming you don't draw very well, which you're not right now, it's going to beat almost everything you have.
Yeah, and his hand is absolutely checkmated here.
Yep.
The sad thing too is even if Martin anticipates that he has drawn a Q, his dodge will also checkmate his entire hand unless Satsuki decides to dodge while knocked down, just
which
to
is
deny
actually
him.
an option.
Yeah, it's not the worst option in this hand right now. But there you go. Does play out of it, although he will be at 4 life and has to do a lot of work to get back in this. So he's finally down to 1 card in hand and will be able to draw back up. But a very, very rough position to be in.
I've just checked the rulebook on the website, and there's a blurb at the very end of Power Up phase. You can get fewer aces than you're entitled to, but only if there are no aces left in your discard pile.
Ah.
So that's because they're public information, and if you go ahead and say, I'm going to go search for aces, and it's known that you have aces to search for, then you have to. But
gotcha.
If there's none in discard, then your opponent can't know if you have, say, secretly drawn all 4 aces and have a checkmate buster waiting for him. So it's allowed to not power up then.
Gotcha. Okay, so you literally can't. It's specifically to disallow you being able to bluff. Okay. All right. Interesting edge case. Unfortunately, very tough way to learn that particular wrinkle.
Yes. Sort of thing you'll never forget, though.
Yeah. We all learned
Sad
something
but
today.
true.
Oh, God.
Staying with the aces. All the way.
Yep. Yeah. Brutal.
Very powerful.
Brutal 3-game win there. Very, very, very well played by MartinTenbones. A sadistic player of Persephone. Smith for the win. All right. So, how does that... yes. No, I'll let you answer that. Sorry.
Yep. So that's the thing. Keep that in mind, all aspiring Satsuki players. It's sort of Serlin's philosophy on, it escapes me now, but on giving players more options isn't necessarily always better, even if it helps them. For balance, sometimes it's better to disallow something. For those, as you said, for the bluffs, because you could always power up 2 sevens and then not get an ace, but to try to bluff that you've secretly drawn all 4 aces, and that is an option, and some players would like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good design choice.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where it is so rarely... I mean, the only character that would be able to take advantage of that situation is Satsuki, right?
Yeah.
It seems like a very strange thing that you would do to bluff that you have all 4 aces to power up in the first place.
Unless you say, whoops, that was a mistake.
Yes, exactly.
But that's getting a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Satsuki could definitely benefit from it, but...
Yeah, but do you leave the rule in that leaves kind of weirdness up in the air. I think it's a legitimate design choice for sure.
Yeah. It's the nature of edge cases.
All right. Well, exciting set. We learned a lot. We loved a lot. We laughed a lot. I'm definitely a better Yomi player for having seen it.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone watching this starts playing Persephone.
No, what are you doing? No, cut the broadcast. Cut the broadcast.
But it's so easy to win with her. All you ever do is use AA. You win combat over and over.
Yes. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Nameless One, for joining me on the cast.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your stream?
Sure, why not? I've recently set up a casuals meetup on the forums called Friday Night Yomi. That's a weekly event at about 8 in the afternoon Central Time, and I plan on streaming every single one of those. So please come watch that on my stream. You can find it on the forums.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that I link. I put a link to your stream and the video itself. So thank you very much for joining me. And yes, I heartily encourage all players of all experiences, whether you're new or you're an old hand at Yomi, to come by on Fridays to play some really fun casual sets. And if you are shy, you don't feel comfortable going for that kind of environment, it's a very, very friendly environment. The group online is very, very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
The other option, of course, is as soon as... So this was the semifinals match for the first mentor tournament. The finals will be coming up at some point, and
pretty
once
soon,
they're done,
the other semis have been finished.
Yes, that's right. So it'll be
probably this weekend.
So it'll be MartinTenbones versus No Shots.
Yep.
Which should be an exciting
probably
set.
A Gray player, I think, but he has a few counter picks. So
should be a cool set. Should be a very, very cool set. And
hopefully we can stream it.
Yes.
Let's ride the Martin Persephone sadism train as far as it can go.
All aboard for AA.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so we will see you all then. And in the meantime, keep an eye on the forums, and we will try to announce something on the... I'll try to announce, maybe I'll make a very short video when the sign-ups for the next mentor tournament starts.
Because if he doesn't run it, we sure will.
Yeah. We'll steal it from him. You hear that, Shax? We're coming for you. All right. Thanks again, Nameless One, for joining me on the cast.
Everyone watch my stream.
Yes. Check them out.
See you guys.
Cheers. Enjoy yourself some Yomi.